Pranaya karunya kana kanatvam Bhaktasya kalyana gunarnavasya Vande Gurashi Charanarvindam Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita Vaditramadyan Manesarasena Romanchakampa Shutaranga Bhaja Vande Gurashi Charanarvindam Shivi Graharadhana Nityanana Chingaratan Mandira Marjanardo Yuktasya Bhaktasya Niyunjatopi Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Chaturvida Shri Bhagavat Prasada Sadvana Tripta Naribhakta Sangam Hitavaiva Tripti Majata Sadaiva Vande Gurashi Charanarvindam Chiradika Madhavayar Para Madhurya Leela Gunarupa Namna Pratikshana Sadhanalalupasya Vande Gurashi Charanarvindam Nikunjayuna Ratikeli Sityai Yayali Viryu Pirapekshaniya Tatradidaksha Dativallabhasya Vande Gurashi Charanarvindam Sakshadaritvena Samasta Shastre Uktastatamavyateva sadvi Kintu Prabhorya Priya eva tasya Vande Gurashi Charanarvindam Yasya prasada Bhagavat prasado Yasya prasada Nagati kutopi Gayastu vamstasya Yashastri sandhyam Vande Gurashi Charanarvindam 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 Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurav.
And I will also try and make some examples just to understand and then get the document. So I spoke with him. He picked up the call only late. Then I said, since I'm going to today anyway, I said I will meet him there. And yeah. Yes. 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 Yeah. Yes, correct. So I want to first understand it. I want to brief the lawyer first before arranging a meeting and ask him. Because I told him I came to know called me day before and told me. I was wondering whether during the day I can call you once before I meet him on the phone, because you said we'll meet today. Yeah. I just need the details before I brief the lawyer, which he will give me, and then I will ask him what can be done. They've already filed something, that is the thing. Yeah, they already have a lawyer. They filed something in the High Court. Somebody from Noida. So that is what I want to check, and if this, I want to also meet that person and then decide. Which who? I'm going now for this because we have to just meet Handelwal and the other person for an update of all the cases. He's here. Rajgovind from Bombay has come, so he requested me to come. Said please come today. Rajgovind, the bureau lawyer, or duty from Maharashtra. No, this is Vrindavan. So since I'm going there anyway, then I thought I'll meet this person. I club both me. I was planning to come back tonight itself. That's right. I'm going with Brajendran and Prabhu is anyway going there to meet Hema Mandan. So I'll go in the same car and come back in the same day. Okay. Where is the meeting? Yeah. He's 6:30, 6:40 will leave. He's going to meet her there at her house. You want to see him? Should I call him? Yeah. I'll call him to the meeting before. We'll go between 6:30 and 6:45. So as far as the other meeting is concerned, I don't think I need to speak with you before that. I will speak with him and give you an update when I come back. That is, he said the moment I'm through with my Mathura court meeting, you call me, I'll be available. When I'm through with my Mathura court meeting, he said, Sanatana told me, you call me and we can meet. It is all the updates, Ramajan, because there have been too many issues in the legal committee. People have been saying many things that we don't have an understanding of the case and all that. So, Rajgovind and I, since we've been both on legal matters, so we want to study all the documents, at least meet the lawyers, and then take an update from them. So many matters are coming around the same time. Okay. I'm just your dog, please engage me more.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Namaste Narasimhaya Praladadayine Hiranyakashiparvakshaha Shilatanka Nakalaye Ito Narsinga Parato Narsinga Yata Yatayami Tato Narsinga Bahir Narsinga Hridaye Narsinga Narsinga Madim Sharanam Prapade Tavakar Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Singam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavarita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narsingare 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 Jaya Narsingare Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Vrindaya Tulsi Devyaya Priyaya Keshava Sacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavate Namo Namah Vrindaya Tulsi Devyaya Priyaya Keshava Sacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavate Namo Namah Vrindaya Tulsi Devyaya Priyaya Keshava Sacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavate Namo Namah Namo Namaha Tulasi Krishna Priyasi Namo Namah Radha Krishna Seva Pao Ei Abhilashi Ito Mare Sharanala Tara Vancha Purna Kripa Kari Kara Tare Vrindavan Vasi Morae Abhilash Vilas Kunja Deovas Nayane Sada Yugala Ruparashi Ei Nivedana Dhara Sakiranugat Karan Simadhikar Diye Karani Jadasi Dina Krishna Dasi Kaye Namorai Shri Radha Govinda Preme Sadaye Nabasi Yani Kani Chapapani Brahma Hatyadikani Cha Tani Tani Pranashanti Pradakshina Pade Pade Yani Kani Chapapani Brahma Hatyadikani Cha Tani Tani Pranashanti Pradakshina Pade Pade Yani Kani Chapapani Brahma Hatyadikani Cha Tani Tani Pranashanti Pradakshina Pade Pade Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vrindavan Tulsidevaya Priyaya Kesavasacha Krishna Bhakti Brother Devi Satyavate Namo Namah. Vrindavan Tulsidevaya Priyaya Kesavasacha Krishna Bhakti Brother Devi Satyavate Namo Namah. Vrindavan Tulsidevaya Priyaya Kesavasacha Krishna Bhakti Brother Devi Satyavate Namo Namah.
Yes. I can read it. Madhavi and the Puja. Yes. Chapter 4, Sri Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. Start with chapter 3. Chapter 3, Lord Chaitanya at the house of the Advaita Acharya. Start from the beginning.
Chapter 4.
Chapter 4. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Madhavendra Puri, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen. Okay. Should I read the summary, Guru Maharaj? Text 1. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Madhavendra Puri, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen by Sri Gopinath, celebrated thereafter as Kshira Chora. Being pleased by Madhavendra Puri's love, Sri Gopala, the deity at Govardhan, appeared to the public vision. Bhaktivinoda Thakur annotates that this Gopal deity was originally installed by Vajra, the grandson of Krishna. Madhavendra Puri rediscovered Gopala and established him on top of Govardhan hill. This Gopal deity is still situated at Nathadwar and is under the management of descendants of Vallabhacharya. The worship of the deity is very luxurious, and one who goes there can purchase varieties of prasad by paying a small price. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Prabhu, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. The Lord went to Jagannath Puri and visited Lord Jagannath's temple. He also met with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. All these pastimes have been very elaborately explained by Vrindavan Das Thakur in his book Chaitanya Bhagavat. By nature, all the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. When they are described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, they became like a shower of nectar. Therefore, I very humbly submit that since these incidents have already been nicely described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, I would be very proud to repeat the same thing, and this would not be very good. I do not have such powers. I am therefore presenting in short codes all those events already described in the Chaitanya Mangala, now known as Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Some of the incidents in his codes he did not describe elaborately, and so I shall try to describe them in this book. I thus offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Vrindavan Das Thakur. I hope that I will not offend his lotus feet by this action. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeded toward Jagannath Puri with 4 of his devotees, and he chanted the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna mantra, with great eagerness. Each day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally went to a village and collected a great quantity of rice and other grains for the preparation of prasad. There were many rivers on the way, and at each river there was a tax collector. They did not hinder the Lord, however, and he showed them mercy. Finally, he reached the village of Remuna. There is a railway station named Baleshwara, and 5 miles to the west is a village named Remuna. The temple of Kshira Chor Gopinath still exists in this village, and within the temple the Samadhi tomb of Rasikananda Prabhu, the chief disciple of Shyamananda Goswami, can still be found. The deity of Gopala in the temple of Remuna was very attractive. Lord Chaitanya visited the temple and offered his obeisances with great devotion. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered his obeisances at the lotus feet of the Gopinath deity, the helmet of flowers on the head of Gopinath fell down and landed on the head of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When the deity's helmet fell upon his head, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very pleased, and thus he chanted and danced in various ways with his devotees. All the servants of the deity were struck with wonder due to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intense love, his exquisite beauty, and his transcendental qualities. Because of their love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they served him in many ways, and that night the Lord stayed at the temple of Gopinath. The Lord remained there because he was very eager to receive the remnants of sweet rice offered to the Gopinath deity, having heard a narration from his spiritual master, Ishwarapuri, of what had once happened there. That deity was known widely as Kshirachor Gopinath, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told his devotees the story of how the deity became so famous. Formerly the deity had stolen a pot of sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri. Therefore he became very famous as the Lord who stole the sweet rice. Once Sri Madhavendra Puri travelled to Vrindavan, where he came upon the hill known as Govardhan. Madhavendra Puri was almost mad in the ecstasy of love of Godhead, and he did not know whether it was day or night. Sometimes he stood up and sometimes he fell to the ground. He could not discriminate whether he was in a proper place or not. After circumambulating the hill, Madhavendra Puri went to Govinda Kunda and took his bath. He then sat beneath a tree to take his evening rest. While he was sitting beneath a tree, an unknown cowherd boy came with a pot of milk, placed it before Madhavendra Puri, and smiling, addressed him as follows. Please drink the milk I have brought. Why don't you beg some food to eat? What kind of meditation are you undergoing? When he saw the beauty of that boy, Madhavendra Puri became very satisfied. Hearing his sweet words, he forgot all hunger and thirst. Madhavendra Puri said, Who are you? Where do you reside? And how did you know that I was fasting? The boy replied, Sir, I am a cowherd boy, and I reside in this village. In my village, no one fasts. In this village, a person can beg food from others and thus eat. Some people drink only milk, but if a person does not ask anyone for food, I supply him all his eatables. The women who come here to take water saw you, and they supplied me with this milk and sent me to you. The boy continued, I must go very soon to milk the cows, but I shall return and take back this milk pot from you. Saying this, the boy left the place. Indeed, he suddenly could be seen no more, and Madhavendra Puri's heart was filled with wonder. After drinking the milk, Madhavendra Puri washed the pot and put it aside. He looked toward the path, but the boy never returned. Madhavendra Puri could not sleep. He sat and chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And at the end of the night, he dozed a little, and his external activities stopped. In a dream, Madhavendra Puri saw the very same boy. The boy came before him and, holding his hand, took him to a bush in the jungle. The boy showed Madhavendra Puri the bush and said, I reside in this bush, and because of this I suffer very much from severe cold, rain showers, winds, and scorching heat. Please bring the people of the village and get them to take me out of this bush. Then have them situate me nicely on top of the hill. Please construct a temple on top of that hill, the boy continued, and install me in that temple. After this, wash me with large quantities of cold water so that my body may be cleansed. For many days I have been observing you, and I have been wondering, when will Madhavendra Puri come here to serve me? I have accepted your service due to your ecstatic love for me. Thus I shall appear, and by my audience, all fallen souls will be delivered. My name is Gopala. I am the lifter of Govardhan Hill. I was installed by Vajra, and here I am the authority. When the Mohammedans attacked, the priest who was serving me hid me in this bush in the jungle. Then he ran away out of fear of the attack. Since the priest went away, I have been staying in this bush. It is very good that you have come here. Now just remove me with care. After saying this, the boy disappeared. Then Madhavendra Puri woke up and began to consider his dream. Madhavendra Puri began to lament. I saw Lord Krishna directly, but I could not recognize him. Thus he fell down on the ground in ecstatic love. Madhavendra Puri cried for some time, but then he fixed his mind on executing the order of Gopala. Thus he became tranquil. After taking his morning bath, Madhavendra Puri entered the village and assembled all the people. Then he spoke as follows. The proprietor of this village, Govardhanadhari, is lying in the bushes. Let us go there and rescue him from that place. The bushes are very dense, and we will not be able to enter the jungle. Therefore take choppers and spades to clear the way. After hearing this, all the people accompanied Madhavendra Puri with great pleasure. According to his directions, they cut down bushes, cleared a path, and entered the jungle. When they saw the deity was covered with dirt and grass, they were all struck with wonder and pleasure. After they cleansed the body of the deity, some of them said, "The deity is very heavy. No one person can move him." Since the deity was very heavy, some of the stronger men assembled to carry him to the top of the hill. Madhavendra Puri also went there. A big stone was made into a throne, and the deity was installed upon it. Another big stone was placed behind the deity for support. All the Brahmana priests of the village gathered together with 9 water pots, and water from Govindakunda lake was brought there and filtered. When the deity was being installed, 900 pots of water were brought from Govindakund. There were musical sounds of bugles and drums and the singing of women. During the festival, at the installation ceremony, some people sang and some danced. All the milk, yogurt, and clarified butter in the village was brought to the festival. Various foods and sweetmeats, as well as other kinds of presentations, were brought there. I am unable to describe all these. The villagers brought a large quantity of tulsi leaves, flowers, and various kinds of garments. Then Sri Madhavendra Puri personally began the Abhishek bathing ceremony. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas, 6th Vilas, verse 30, it is stated that the deity should be bathed in water mixed with yogurt and milk, accompanied by the sounds of conch shells, bells, and other instruments, and the chanting of the mantra, Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha, as well as the chanting of the Brahma Samhita verses beginning Chinta Mani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha Lakshavriteshu Surabhi Ravi Palayantam. After all inauspicious things were driven away by the chanting of the mantra, the deity's bathing ceremony started. First, the deity was massaged with a large quantity of oil so that his body became very glossy. After the first bathing, further bathings were conducted with Panchagavya and then with Panchamrita. Then the Mahasnan was performed with ghee and water, which had been brought in 100 pots. The ingredients of Panchagavya are milk, yogurt, ghee, clarified butter, cow urine, and cow dung. All these items come from the cow. Therefore, we can just imagine how important the cow is, since its urine and stool are required for bathing the deity. The Panchamrita consists of 5 kinds of nectar: yogurt, milk, ghee, honey, and sugar. The major portion of this preparation also comes from the cow. To make it more palatable, sugar and honey are added. After the Mahasnan was finished, the deity was again massaged with scented oil, and his body made glossy.
गुरु मैं निकल रहा हूँ महाराज 28 तारीख जिस दिन डोनर आएंगे हाँ और हम फोन करेंगे महाराज वहाँ से बात करवा देंगे ठीक अच्छा ठीक है ठीक मैं निकल वहाँ से हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल जी गुरु महाराज आपका आशीर्वाद से अच्छा महाराज जी 11 साढ़े 11 के बीच क्योंकि काफ़ी बिजी है ना मथुरा में ज़्यादा रहती है तो मोदी ने बोला है कि जितने एमपीज हैं सब अपने अपने फील्ड में ज़्यादा काम करें और होली का उत्सव भी आ रहा है ना तो सब होली अपने क्षेत्र में मनाएं ऐसा इंस्ट्रक्शन है उनका अमराज हाँ महाराज हम उनको मेरी बात हुई थी कि 26, 27, 28, 29 किसी भी दिन आ जाए जो भी टाइम को शूट करें को 30 को रामनवमी दिन तो ज़्यादातर वहाँ रहती ना बम्बई में जूहू में का कोई कार्यक्रम होता है लेकिन बाकी इन दिनों में कोई न कोई आ जाएंगे वो हम बात कर लेंगे ठीक गुरु महाराज हरे कृष्ण महाराज
After the Mahasnan was finished, the deity was again massaged with Srila Prabhupada's class is there. Yes. And then after that, they asked me to summarize the class for 15 minutes.
You hear the class and then summarize.
Yes, yes. Thank you. After the Mahasnan was finished, the deity was again massaged with scented oil, and his body made glossy. Then the last bathing ceremony was performed with scented water kept within a conch shell. In his commentary on this occasion, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes from the Hari Bhakti Vilas: barley powder, wheat powder, vermilion powder, and urad dal powder, and other powder preparation called avata, made by mixing banana powder and brown rice, are applied to the deity's body with a brush made from the hair at the end of a cow's tail. This produces a nice finish. The oil smeared over the body of the deity should be scented. To perform the Mahasnan, at least 2.5 mounds, about 24 gallons of water, are needed to pour over the body of the deity. After the body of the deity was cleansed, he was dressed very nicely with new garments. Then sandalwood pulp, tulsi garlands, and other fragrant flowers were placed upon the body of the deity. After the bathing ceremony was finished, incense and lamps were burned, and all kinds of food offered before the deity. These foods included yogurt, milk, and as many sweetmeats as were received. The deity was first offered many varieties of food, then scented drinking water in new pots, and then water for washing the mouth. Finally, pan mixed with a variety of spices was offered. After the last offering of tambula and pan, Bhoga Arti was performed. Finally, everyone offered various prayers and then obeisances, falling flat before the deity in full surrender. As soon as the people of the village had understood that the deity was going to be installed, they had brought their entire stocks of rice, dal, and wheat flour. They brought such large quantities that the entire surface of the top of the hill was filled. When the villagers brought their stock of rice, dal, and flour, the potters of the village brought all kinds of cooking pots. And in the morning the cooking began. 10 brahmanas cooked the food grains, and 5 brahmanas cooked both dry and liquid vegetables. The vegetable preparations were made from various kinds of spinach, roots, and fruits, collected from the forest, and someone had made bada and badi by mashing dal. In this way the brahmanas prepared all kinds of food. 5 of the 7 men had prepared a huge quantity of chapatis, which was sufficiently covered with ghee, clarified butter, as were all the vegetables, rice, and dal. All the cooked rice was stacked on palasha leaves, which were on new clothes spread over the ground. Around the stack of cooked rice were stacks of chapatis, and all the vegetables and liquid vegetable preparations were placed in different pots and put around them. Pots of yogurt, milk, buttermilk, and shikarini, sweet rice, cream, and solid cream were placed alongside the vegetables. In this kind of ceremony, which is called annakuta, cooked rice is stacked like a small mountain for prasada distribution. In this way, the annakuta ceremony was performed, and Madhavendra Puri, Goswami, personally offered everything to Gopala. Many water pots were filled with scented water for drinking, and Lord Shri Gopala, who had been hungry for many days, ate everything offered to him. Although Shri Gopala ate everything offered, still by the touch of his transcendental hand, everything remained as before. The atheist cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing in the form of the deity, can eat all the food offered by his devotees. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyopahitam ashrami prayatatmana. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. Bhagavad Gita 9:26. The Lord is Purna, complete, and therefore He eats everything offered by the devotees. However, by the touch of His transcendental hand, all the food remains exactly as before. It is the quality that is changed. Before the food was offered, it was something else. But after it is offered, the food acquires a transcendental quality. Because the Lord is Purna, He remains the same, even after eating. Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. The food offered to Krishna is qualitatively as good as Krishna. Just as Krishna is avyaya, indestructible, the food eaten by Krishna, being identical with Him, remains as before. Apart from this, Krishna can eat the food with any one of his transcendental senses. He can eat by seeing the food or by touching it. Nor should one think that it is necessary for Krishna to eat. He does not become hungry like an ordinary human being. Nonetheless, He presents Himself as being hungry, and as such, He can eat everything and anything, regardless of quantity. The philosophy underlying Krishna's eating is understandable by our transcendental senses. When our senses are purified by constantly being engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, we can understand Krishna's activities, names, forms, qualities, pastimes, and entourage. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriya sevan mukhi jivado swayameva spuratyada. No one can understand Krishna by the blunt material senses, but He reveals Himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto Him. The devotees understand Krishna through revelation. It is not possible for a mundane scholar to understand Krishna and His pastimes through research work on the non-devotional platform. How Gopala ate everything while the food remained the same was transcendently perceived by Madhavendra Puri Goswami. Nothing remains a secret to the devotees of the Lord. The wonderful festival and installation of Sri Gopalaji was arranged in one day. Certainly, all this was accomplished by the potency of Gopala. No one but a devotee can understand this. The Krishna consciousness movement has spread all over the world within a very short time, within 5 years. And mundane people are very astonished at this. However, by the grace of Lord Shri Krishna, of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we understand that everything is possible by the grace of Krishna. Why does Krishna have to take 5 years? In 5 days he can spread his name and fame all over the world like wildfire. Those who have faith and devotion to Krishna can understand that these things happen so wonderfully by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are simply the instruments. In the fierce battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna was victorious within 18 days simply because Krishna's grace was on his side. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. Bhagavad Gita 18:78. If the preachers in our Krishna consciousness movement are sincere devotees of Krishna, Krishna will always be with them, because he is very kind and favorable to all his devotees. Just as Arjuna and Krishna were victorious in the battle of Kurukshetra, this Krishna consciousness movement will surely emerge victorious if we but remain sincere devotees of the Lord and serve the Lord according to the advice of predecessors, the 6 Goswamis, and other devotees of the Lord. As Narottam Das Thakur has stated, Tadera charana sevi bhakta sanivas janam janam. The Krishna consciousness movement must always desire to remain in the society. The Krishna consciousness devotees must always desire to remain in the society of devotees. Bhakta sanivas. They cannot go outside the Krishna consciousness society or the movement. Within the society, we must try to serve the predecessors by preaching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cult and spreading his name and fame all over the world. If we attempt this seriously within the society, it will be successfully done. There is no question of estimating how this will happen in the mundane sense, but without a doubt it happens by the grace of Krishna. Madhavendra Puri offered water to Gopala for washing his mouth, and he gave him betel nuts to chew. Then, while Arti was performed, all the people chanted, Jai, Jai, all glories to Gopala. Arranging the Lord's rest, Sri Madhavendra Puri brought a new cot, and over this he spread a new bedstead, and thus made the bed ready. After the Lord was laid down to rest on the bed, Madhavendra Puri gathered all the Brahmanas who had prepared the prasad and said to them, Now feed everyone sumptuously, from the children on up to the youth. All the people gathered there sat down to honor the prasad, and by they took food. All the Brahmanas and their wives were fed first. According to the Varnashram system, the Brahmanas are always honored first. Thus, at the festival, the Brahmanas and their wives were first offered the remnants of food, and then the others, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and Shudras. This has always been the system, and it is still prevalent in India, even though the caste Brahmanas are not qualified. The system is still current due to the Varna Ashram institutional rules and regulations. Not only did the people of Govardhan village take prasadam, but also those who came from other villages. They also saw the deity of Gopala and were offered prasadam. Seeing the influence of Madhavendra Puri, all the people gathered there were struck with wonder. They saw that the Annakuta ceremony, which had been performed during the time of Krishna, Krishna was now taking place again by the mercy of Sri Madhavendra Puri. Formerly, at the end of Dwapar Yuga, all the cowherd men of Vrindavan had arranged to worship King Indra, but they gave this worship up, following the advice of Krishna. Instead, they performed a ceremony whereby they worshipped the cows, brahmanas, and Govardhan Hill. At that time, Krishna expanded himself and declared, "I am Govardhan Hill." In this way, he accepted all the paraphernalia and foodstuff offered to Govardhan Hill. It is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 24, 26, 31 to 33. Pachyantam vividha paka supanta payasadaya samyava pupashashkulya sarvadohascha vividha kalam kalatmana bhagavata sakradarpam jidham sata proktam nishamya nandadya nandanya sadhvakrinnanta tadvacha तथा च यदधु सर्वं यथाह मधुसूदनं पाचयित्वा स्वस्य यज्ञं तद्ब्रह्मेण गिरिद्विजाम् उपहृत्य बलिन् सर्वान् आदृष्टाय वसं ददौ गोधनानि पुरस्कृत्य गिरिं चक्रुः Pradakshinam. Prepare very nice foodstuffs of all descriptions from maize and ghee collected for the yajna. Prepare rice, dal, sarva, pakoras, puri, and all kinds of milk preparations like sweet rice, sweet balls, sandesh, rasgulla, and laddu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna therefore advised the cowherd men to stop the Indra Yajna and begin the Govardhan Puja, to chastise Indra, who was very much puffed up at being the supreme controller of the heavenly planets.
Yes, yes.